In the heart of a bustling city, a woman named Clary settled into her new life with her husband Tom and his teenage son, Leo. Clara had married Tom 2 years prior, drawn to his warmth and kindness, and she was eager to embrace her role as a stepmother. Leo, however, was a different story. At 16, he was reserved, often retreating into the world of video games and solitude, still grappling with the loss of his mother years earlier. Clara was determined to create a welcoming home for Leo. She filled their apartment with laughter, cooking meals, and inviting him to share in family activities. Yet their conversations remained sparse. One day, while preparing dinner, Clara mustered the courage to ask Leo about school. He replied nonchalantly, "It's fine," and quickly returned to his room, leaving Clara to wonder if he would ever open up. Weeks turned into months, and slowly but surely, Leo began to share glimpses of his life. He talked about friends, school projects, and his passion for music. Clara felt grateful for this budding connection, hoping Leo would see her as someone he could trust. But then something shifted one quiet evening as they sat at the dinner table. Tom was out for a meeting, leaving Clara and Leo alone. Out of nowhere, Leo looked at her and said, "You're really nice to me." Clara chuckled lightly, responding, "Of course, Leo. I care about you." The moment hung in the air, charged with unspoken feelings. Leo's gaze lingered, and Clara felt an unsettling flutter in her stomach. She brushed it off, telling herself it was simply the innocence of a teenager. But as days passed, the nature of their interactions began to change. Leo started to seek her out, lingering close during movie nights or offering to help with chores. One night, while they were cleaning the living room, Leo shared memories of his late mother. "I just miss her so much," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. Clara, feeling a surge of empathy, reached for his hand. "She would be proud of who you're becoming," she assured him. The connection felt profound, yet it left Clara feeling uneasy. That night, Clara tossed and turned in bed, replaying their conversation and Leo's gaze. Was this all in her head? Was there something deeper happening between them? As she tried to convince herself that everything was fine, her heart felt heavy with confusion. Days turned into a blur of normalcy, yet Clara felt the weight of an unspoken tension with Leo. He continued to be helpful, always there with a kind word or a gesture. One afternoon, as Clara chopped vegetables in the kitchen, Leo stepped in to lend a hand. "Do you need help?" he asked, a soft smile on his face. "I'd love some," Clara replied, grateful for his company. As they worked side by side, Leo paused and looked at her intently. "You make this place feel like home," he said quietly. Clara's heart raced at his words. She thanked him, feeling both flattered and alarmed. From that moment, Leo sought even more closeness. Whenever Clara was in the living room, he would sit beside her, and if she went to the garden, he would join her. "You're so caring, Clara," he would say. "I wish my mom could have met you." His words made her feel special, yet also uncertain. One evening, the atmosphere shifted drastically. Clara was curled up on the couch with a book when Leo approached. They began to chat, sharing laughter over funny passages. Suddenly, Leo placed his hand on hers and Clara froze. "Leo, what are you doing?" she asked softly. "I just wanted to thank you for everything," he replied, sincerity in his eyes. Clara gently withdrew her hand, trying to maintain composure. "You don't need to thank me. We're family," she said, though inside a storm of emotions raged. That night, Clara locked her bedroom door, her hands trembling as she replayed Leo's gesture in her mind. Should she tell Tom? Could she even confront this confusion? She decided to stay silent, telling herself it was just a moment of confusion on Leo's part, that he would move on. But the next days were a struggle. Clara avoided being alone with Leo, fearing the intensity of their situation. Yet he continued to reach out, trying to bridge the widening gap. Each time they were near, Clara felt an unspoken bond that both thrilled and terrified her. One afternoon, while Tom was out, Leo knocked on Clara's bedroom door. "Can we talk?" he asked softly. Clara's heart raced. "Not right now, Leo. I need some space," she replied firmly. Yet the tension hung heavily in the air, and she felt trapped in her own home. Days turned into a cycle of avoidance and confusion. When Tom returned, Clara felt a sense of relief, but the weight of her secret gnawed at her. One night, as they lay in bed together, Clara knew she couldn't keep this hidden forever. The silence felt unbearable. After breakfast the next morning, Clara made a choice. She needed to tell Tom everything. With a shaking voice, she asked him to sit down. "It's about Leo," she began, her heart pounding. Tom's expression shifted, concern etched on his face. "Is he okay?" he asked. Clara took a deep breath, pouring out everything, how Leo had been acting, the unsettling moments, and her struggle to manage it all. Tom listened intently, his expression changing from confusion to concern. "I can't believe this," he finally said. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I was scared," Clara admitted, tears pooling in her eyes. "I didn't want to ruin our family." Tom nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We need to fix this," he said firmly. Later that day, Tom spoke with Leo, and Clara stayed in the kitchen, her heart racing. Eventually, Tom returned, looking both exhausted and relieved. "Leo understands he crossed a line. He's staying with his aunt for a while," he said. Clara felt a mix of relief and sadness. That night, as Tom held her hand, Clara knew they had taken a crucial step toward healing. "We'll get through this together," he reassured her, and she nodded, feeling the burden begin to lift. In that moment, Clara realized that while the journey ahead would be difficult, they would face it as a united family. If you like my stories, kindly subscribe to my channel to stay updated to my weekly tales. Peace